Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring, a really fascinating intersection. It's one that pulls fashion out of, the world of just trends
Right.
and puts it directly into the toolkit for self-improvement. We looked at a bunch of sources all centered on one brand's philosophy, BKLEO clothing.
And their claim is huge. They say they're uplifting lives around the world.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack that. How does a hoodie or a T-shirt go from being just something you buy to becoming what they call intentional fashion?
It's a great term.
It is. We need to define that and pull out the specific psychological ideas and, the real-world examples they use to argue that what you wear can be a catalyst for real change in your life.
Well, the first thing that just jumps out is that their main claim isn't really about aesthetics. It's not about how it looks.
Right.
It's about communication. The brand argues that clothing isn't just a shell to, cover the body. In their words, it's about revealing the message behind the soul. And that just shifts the entire purpose of the product.
The whole game, yeah.
And you see this in their mission. It's got 3 clear objectives. First, empower people through this intentional fashion.
Right.
Second, inspire self-belief in, dreamers, doers, and this is key in overcomers, people who are actually going through something tough.
Overcomers, I like that.
And third, they want to unite a global community of people who are all on their own growth journey. So the clothes are basically designed to be a behavioral tool.
Okay, let's unpack this. So if normal fashion is passive, you're just following a trend or whatever, the BKLEO idea demands that you, the listener, actively engage with what you're wearing. So where's that crossover point? When does a shirt stop being decoration and start being reinforcement?
It happens the second that emotional weight is attached to it, and the source material is really clear on this. They call their foundational philosophy the catalyst for change.
The catalyst for change.
Yeah. They were founded on this one principle. Fashion should speak to your evolution.
And that word evolution, it's so central. They make it clear their designs aren't about what's trendy this season.
No, not at all.
They're inspired by, and this is a quote, real-life transformation and the fire people walk through. So every design is connected to overcoming something.
And that right there is the so what moment. That's what changes it from just, a simple purchase.
Right.
Because if the product is rooted in that journey of overcoming, you're not just buying some fabric. Their slogan says it all, really. We don't just sell fashion. We sell reminders of your strength.
So when you buy one of their hoodies, you're not just paying for a piece of clothing.
No.
The source says you're making an investment in your mindset.
Exactly. It completely changes the psychology of it. You're buying a tangible piece of a philosophy. And think about how powerful that is for someone who's, dealing with imposter syndrome or a major setback.
Sure.
The moment you put that on, it's like this external validation of the strength you already have. It's a counter argument to that voice of self-doubt in your head.
And the sources really dive into how the community uses this idea. We found all these stories about people wearing these pieces like daily armor.
Daily armor. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and we're talking about wearing them while walking into a big job interview or in those early hard days of starting a business.
Or even just healing from personal trauma.
Absolutely. It's a simple physical reminder of what they've committed to.
And that reminder is tied to a very specific identity statement. The clothing is designed to reinforce it. It's this forward-looking idea that it's meant to echo back at you from the mirror.
What's the statement?
It's, I'm not who I used to be. I'm becoming something greater.
Wow.
It's a really critical psychological move, right? It anchors you not in your past struggles, but in your future potential.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because that idea of an identity statement, it goes from this general philosophy to the actual words on the clothes.
The practical application.
Yes, what they call the language of empowerment. The clothing has these declarations on it, specific statements that are designed to be these little bits of knowledge that the wearer can see and repeat and use to manage their own self-talk.
Like a script for your own mind.
Exactly. We pulled 5 specific examples from the apparel. The first one is probably the most direct. Just 2 words. Built different.
So powerful, right? In a world that's always pushing you to conform, that phrase is like, it's permission to just be you.
To own your own path.
Yeah, it's not about being better than anyone else. It's a personal declaration that your perspective is valid, even if it's not the mainstream one.
Okay, then there's the one that's all about pure resilience. It says, fearless to the bone, nothing breaks me.
That one speaks directly to anyone who's faced real adversity. It's not saying you don't feel pain, but that your core, your spirit, it's still intact.
It's defiant.
It's very defiant. It reminds you that, things can challenge you, but they don't get to redefine you.
And building on that is the theme of, like, rising from failure. The next one is From Dust, I Rise Reborn with Purpose.
I love that one. It frames setbacks not as endings, but as necessary ingredients for a new beginning.
It reframes the whole narrative.
It turns failure into your origin story. It says everything you went through, good and bad, made you who you are now, purposefully.
Okay, this next one is really interesting because it speaks to feeling lost.
Hmm?
It uses this, like, tech metaphor. Error 404, path not found, create your own.
And that is such a great piece of advice for today. So many people feel like they don't have a blueprint for success.
Right, a 404 error means you've hit a dead end.
Exactly. But the brand reframes that moment of confusion. It turns it into a command to create something new. It gives you permission to be unconventional.
It's a philosophy for a nonlinear life.
For sure. And what about the last one?
The last one is the simplest, but maybe the hardest. It's just 2 words. Why not?
That's the one for overcoming inertia, right?
Totally. So many people are stopped just because they don't give themselves permission.
They overthink, they self-sabotage.
And that phrase just cuts right through it. It's pure momentum. These aren't just, trendy quotes. They're designed to be mental scripts.
Which brings us to the science behind it, this idea of why wearing empowerment works.
Right, because this is grounded in actual psychology.
Oh, absolutely. The source material points to a known scientific principle. In behavioral science, it's often called enclosed cognition.
Enclosed cognition.
Yeah, or identity priming. It's the idea that the physical act of wearing something and the symbolic meaning you give it can systematically change your own psychological state.
So it's not just some feel-good marketing slogan.
No, it's much deeper. Science tells us that what we wear actively impacts how we feel, how we think, how we perform.
Like putting on a lab coat and feeling more focused?
Precisely. So if you put on what you believe is your armor, something that signifies resilience, your behavior can actually shift to match that identity. The brand is explicit that these designs are purposefully crafted to encourage transformation.
And that concept, that your clothes are an active part of how your brain works, that's what gives so much weight to their claims of global impact. Which, by the way, they back up with some pretty solid numbers. We're talking over 12,000 customers.
Oh.
And a 4.8 out of 5 average rating, which is really high. But crucially, they've reached people in over a dozen countries. The sources list places like New York, Nairobi, Sydney, and Stockholm.
So it's not just a local thing. It's a global tribe.
The global tribe, yeah.
And that's a key insight. The hardest part of changing your life is often the loneliness.
Feeling like you're the only one.
Exactly. So knowing that someone in Stockholm is wearing that same built different shirt for the same reason, that provides social validation. It makes the journey feel less isolated.
And the testimonials really bring those numbers to life. This is where you see the practical result.
Or real stories.
Yeah. We have Marcus J., who says the clothing reminds him every day that he is stronger, more focused, and proud of my growth. That's all about the present moment.
Then you've got Ashley R., who says wearing it makes her feel like she's stepping into my purpose. That's like an immediate activation of her ambition.
An on-switch.
A total on-switch.
And Daniel K. had a different take, more reflective. He said, it's a reminder of how far I've come.
And that's fascinating. For him, it's a retrospective anchor. It's proof that the past struggle wasn't for nothing, which reinforces why he should keep going.
It's like a trophy you can wear.
A wearable trophy, exactly. And beyond those specific names, the sources are full of claims about the clothes providing the courage to leave a toxic job.
Right. And that idea of daily armor for tough situations, like going to therapy or having a difficult conversation, the pattern is crystal clear. The main value is motivational.
It's not about the aesthetic.
Okay, let's shift to the actual product design, because if the clothes are armor, they have to be, functional.
They have to be comfortable. That's a key detail. If the fabric is scratchy or uncomfortable, it creates a distraction.
It undermines the message.
Totally. So they focus on comfortable, stretchable, soft fabrics. The body should, as they say, feel as good as the mindset.
And of course, the second priority is those empowering designs we just talked about. But the third is about community-inclusive sizing.
Which reinforces the idea that growth is for everyone.
Exactly. And to bring it all home, the best sellers they list really show who they're talking to.
Yeah, they're aimed at people with big, long-term goals. For example, the Building Empire One Dream at a Time hoodie.
That's for the entrepreneurs, the creators.
People playing the long game. Then there's the Man on a Mission, Legend to be Made tee.
That one really elevates the daily grind into something heroic.
It does. And the most intense one is probably the Not Human, Willpower tee.
Yeah, that's a statement.
It's for someone operating at a peak level of self-discipline. It connects to that feeling of almost superhuman focus.
So what does this all mean? When you boil it all down, the brand's final message is that they're selling way more than fabric.
Much more.
They say that when you wear this clothing, you're not just putting on a brand, you are putting on belief, boldness, becoming.
And I think the final takeaway for you listening to this is the real power of these external reminders. We think of personal growth as this like purely internal mental thing. But this deep dive shows how physical anchors, a phrase on a shirt, a symbol you wear, can be so effective when you consciously link them to the identity you want to build.
So choosing products that reinforce the person you want to become can actually speed up that journey.
Absolutely.
The claim is that uplifting your life starts, at least in part, with being intentional about what you wear. We've seen how this brand engineers its message to be one of strength and transformation. So we'll leave you with a final thought. If your clothes really are your daily armor, what specific message is your current wardrobe communicating about your own journey right now? Is it reinforcing who you want to be? Or is it just passive fabric?
That's a great question.
Stay bold, stay focused, and always
Yeah.
wear your journey.